Daniel cried. G divorces wife Rachel Weisz to be with Eva Green. Things began to change in an unexpected way in the summer of 2015, when Daniel was invited to a celebration of the 10th anniversary of Casino Royale, his first James Bond film. The ceremony took place in Venice, where the golden light reflected off the ancient cobblestones. And there, in the shimmering light of the ancient canal hall, Eva Green walked in. It was the same figure, the same eyes, the woman who had played Vesper Lynd, Bond's first tragic love interest in the new era. Daniel stood still for a second. Eva just smiled, tilting her head as if the nearly 10 years between them had never passed. "You still have that look," Eva whispered as they raised their glasses to toast. "Bonds, oh, are yours?" "I think it's hard to tell now," Daniel chuckled. "What about you? Do you still write poetry?" Eva laughed. "Only in the rain and a glass of brandy." The reunion seemed harmless, two old friends meeting, talking about old times. But Daniel knew, in that moment, something deep inside him was stirred. Eva was not like Rachel. There was something about her, rebellious, mysterious, elusive. She was the sparkling night, Rachel was the warm light. One took him home, the other led him astray. Fire in the dark. After Venice, Daniel and Eva began to communicate again. At first, it was just emails about movies, poems, music. But then, emails turned to phone calls. Phone calls turned to meetings. The first time Daniel sneaked up on Rachel, he flew to Paris to attend an art exhibition that Eva was a consultant for. They sat together for hours in an old café near Montmartre, talking about the lone lines of artists, about roles that could not be played in real life. "Are you happy?" Eva asked, her eyes piercing through him. Daniel didn't answer. He just leaned down, and in response, he pressed his lips to her hand, heartbreakingly at once. The truth was broken. Rachel knew. Not because she had been watching Daniel, but because she knew him. From the look in his eyes, from the nights he'd lain beside her, his heart no longer beating in sync. One night, when Daniel came home late, Rachel sat in the living room, holding an unsent letter. "I know who you're with," she said, not crying, not screaming. Just tired. Daniel sat down, his hands shaking. "You didn't mean to. Not mean to cheat? Or love someone else?" He was silent. "You love her?" she asked. A nod. Very slow. Rachel smiled sadly, tears falling. "It's sad. Not because you love someone else, but because you've stopped trying to hold on to what made you the one I chose." Broken dreams. Divorce, to outsiders, is a word. But to Rachel, it is a silent shock, like an iceberg under the sea, unseen by anyone but strong enough to sink the ship she once believed was immortal. few weeks after that fateful conversation, Daniel moved out of their house in Primrose Hill. He chose a small apartment near the South Bank, where he could see the Thames flowing silently at night. Rachel did not insist, nor did she make a fuss. She asked him for only one thing: not to let the children feel abandoned. Daniel agreed. A lawyer was hired. The proceedings began. The media seemed to know nothing, because both chose to remain silent. To the world, they were still the beautiful couple of British cinema. But inside, everything was broken beyond repair. Max asked, "Why don't you sleep at home anymore?" Sophia was silent, looking at her mother every morning with worried eyes. Rachel couldn't cry in front of her son, but every time she went into the bedroom, she would sit by the window for hours, just watching the streetlights change color. The house was strangely quiet. No more Daniel singing, no more clinking glasses in the late evenings. A love recognized. Paris, winter 2016. Daniel visited Eva in her old apartment in the Marais district. This time there were no more secret coffees or metaphorical emails. They were officially together. Gently, without declaration. Eva opened the door, wearing a long sweater that covered her thin shoulders. In her hand was the script for a French-British art film that was about to start shooting. The male lead, of course, was Daniel. She wanted him not only to star, but to co-produce. Eva had always believed that Daniel not only had the handsome Bond look but also the soul deep enough to play complex characters. "Are you afraid that people will say you abandoned your family for a role?" she asked. Daniel shook his head. "Not afraid anymore. I've given up too much to be real." Eva said nothing, just hugged him from behind. For the first time in years, Daniel felt like he didn't have to pretend to be someone else. Not Bond. Not the ideal husband. Just Daniel. A man who knew he had caused pain, but also knew he needed an escape. Media storm. In April 2017, the media exploded after paparazzi took a series of photos of Daniel and Eva holding hands on the Amalfi coast of Italy. They both looked natural, not hiding, not wearing sunglasses or bowing their heads, as if ready to take it all in. The Daily Mail ran the headline, "James Bond dumps Rachel for Vespa Lind in real life." On social media, people were divided. One side blamed Daniel, calling him a traitor. The other side praised them as a beautiful couple, like fate. Rachel remained silent. Only once, at a press conference in New York to promote her new film, a journalist asked her, "How did you feel when your ex-husband went public with his relationship with Eva Green?" Rachel smiled, unshaken. "We loved each other very much. And now, I just hope people find what they need." Just one sentence, but the whole room was silent. In that answer was an uncomplaining loss, a beauty of a woman who knew she had loved correctly, even if that love could not stay. The heart is divided. The key Ds gradually adjusted. Sophia grew older, and began to understand. She told Rachel, "I think Daddy and Eva are friends. Like Mommy and Uncle Josh in the Heat are." Rachel smiled. "Yeah, like that. Daniel never brought Eva too close to the kids too early." He respected Rachel and himself. Eva only appeared on special occasions, and when the kids were ready. One Christmas in 2018, for the first time, all three of them, Daniel, Eva and the two kids, celebrated the holiday together in France. Eva made dinner, Daniel read fairy tales. Max asked, "Is Aunt Eva a Bond girl?" The room laughed. Eva nodded. "But only outside the movies. Here, she's a friend." Rachel celebrated Christmas late with the kids the next day. No blame, no jealousy. She had gotten over the pain. And from the ruins, she found herself again, stronger, more independent. Post-divorce, two paths. In 2019, Daniel and Rachel completed the divorce proceedings quietly. No press conferences, no property disputes. Each kept their own house, their own bank accounts, and shared custody of their children. Rachel agreed to direct a major Broadway play. Daniel and Eva co-produced their first film, a European art film about two souls lost in the war. The film won an award in Venice. Daniel was no longer Bond. He was himself. The two continued to appear in public, not as a Hollywood power couple, but as two people who had overcome loss and learned to love again. Part 10, Reunion. In the summer of 2025, Sophia graduated from Highgate School. Rachel threw a party in the garden behind her house in London. Daniel came with Eva, simple, unpretentious. They sat at the same table, raising their glasses for their daughter. Rachel and Daniel looked at each other for a few seconds. The look of two people who had shared their lives, then gone through pain. Now only gratitude remained. Daniel said softly, "Thank you for always being a great mother." Rachel replied, "Thank you for never abandoning them." Eva sat next to him, gently holding Daniel's hand. There was no competition. Just three adults who had chosen their own paths, but still kept a piece of common memory, once being home together.